I cannot emphasize how much I love using zinc cane when there are no curved edges on my stained glass project. It is so much easier and faster to attach the border, making this step less stressful than having to stretch hobby cane or bead solder onto the project. Which, by the way, I am terrible at bead soldering. It's the one skill I completely skipped over when I struggled to get it without dripping molten solder onto my hand. Hard pass. When initially attaching the border to hold it in place, I only flux and solder 2 to 3 spots. This feels like plenty enough to secure the zinc in place and prevent the project from shifting around. If you haven't tried zinc cane before, there are a few different ways you can cut your angles. Option 1 is buying a 45-degree angle snipper that costs around $120. Or option 2, which is the route I was shown, where you just use wire cutters to make vertical cuts at each end of the project, bend out the sides, and fold them over. Option 2, in my opinion, is slightly less of a clean finish, but you're saving a ton from buying a one-purpose tool. Now that the border is in place, we move on to soldering all of the joints that lead to the border. This helps secure the project, adding support for weight distribution. I noticed as I was soldering these joints, I developed a motion that allowed the solder line to connect to the zinc and create a somewhat uniform appearance. Fun fact, solder can and will flow onto the zinc wherever flux and heat are present. So if you put a ton of flux on the border, it will dissipate and create large blobs of solder. Some like that look, which is fine, but it's not for me. So I tried only adding flux where I wanted the solder to be on the zinc. The motion was a down, up, down step. First down is heating up the already present solder line. Up is moving the iron onto the zinc, then back down to the solder line. Kind of like looking both ways when you cross the street. You know, left, right, left. And because no one trusts drivers these days, that also applies to one-ways. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit the follow button if you enjoy seeing stained glass get created one step at a time. Or if you like hearing me explain things you may already know as a more experienced artist. Either way, we could totally be besties.